What has now been 3 months since New York City entered phase one of its reopening plan. And despite all the positive talk about home building being red hot, commercial construction, particularly in New York, remains stuck. And there's very real fear about the long-term health of the industry. Joining us now is Maurice Regan. He is the founder and CEO of JT Magen, a national leading construction company responsible for big projects like, Nordstrom's new NYC flagship, Microsoft Fifth Avenue store, and more recently, Facebook's new headquarters in the old post office building on 8th Avenue in Manhattan. Maurice, good to talk with you again. I wish it was under better circumstances. We keep talking about how good residential construction is doing. How is commercial construction doing?
Brian, that's a very good question, and thanks for having me back again this morning. Well, Brian, since we last talked, really at the beginning of the opening, every project we had pre-pandemic, pre-shutdown in March has resumed. We are back at full manpower. The scary thing, as you say, for the future is that we've seen a massive drop-off in new opportunities and new presentations, probably in the range between 75 and 80%. So, the new opportunities don't seem to be out there. Everybody's probably being guarded with their decisions they're making on their office space. And I guess seeing how this plays out.
And how do you see it playing out, Maurice? There is so much talk about what's in store for New York City, particularly Manhattan's long-term future.
So, Brian, what we do is we monitor both JT Magen and the rest of the industry in the tri-state area. And we look at our backlog of work and we look what we've been bringing in. And we're very lucky. You did mention Facebook's new headquarters in the Farley building. That's 770,000 square feet. We were lucky enough to be awarded BNP Paribas' new headquarters, which is 500,000 square feet. And, Equinix, the colo provider, we've been awarded a few new data centers. They're all existing clients. There's no new business. So we've probably landed in this pandemic about $800 million worth of work, which is on par with what we normally do. So that's a false sense of security that we're watching very carefully, because there's no new business, there's no new clients. And if it wasn't for that, I'll say, anomaly that we've got, this business has been worked on for probably 2 years. So it landed at a good time. And all it does is push out the big effect of this, I'll say, slowdown in work to us. So where all our competition is slowing down right now, we see a slowdown in the first and second quarter of next year. And look, this year will probably be a little bit down on last year, and next year will be down maybe 20 or 30%. But what's really scary, to your point, is that 2022, is looking fairly bleak, where an organization like mine might be affected 50 or 60%, which is a huge impact. So whatever it does to my organization, think about all the manpower on the streets that won't be working.
You say, Maurice, there's, no new business. We're entering almost month 6 of the pandemic-induced lockdowns, particularly in New York City. Has there been any indication that business is starting to come back? Are people having the dialogues again? Or is it still pretty much nobody wants to commit huge amounts of capital for the next few years?
I think, Brian, that's the way it's looking like. The clients that had committed, the clients that had planned, the clients that had taken out a new lease, they're really, they have to move forward. They've or the projects that are under construction. What option do you have? I mean, to put a project on hold or to try and redesign now would be a very expensive, I say, prospect. So a lot of these clients, look, it's a catch-22, and nobody has the answers at the moment. Nobody knows if there's going to be, a cure or, just. I think, it's come a long way. I mean, when we last talked, it was new. I don't think the impact was as real, and now we're seeing the real impact of this. 3 months after opening, just the complete slowdown of work and paranoia.
That's a lot of jobs in construction, not just with JT Magen, but with all the construction companies across New York. I mean, you've seen construction in New York City just boom in the last number of years. So what are you doing, Maurice? What does the industry do when it's looking so bleak a couple of years out?
I think, Brian, that's, in the past, we did things like we looked at other locations. We have offices in Chicago and LA, and we diversified. We looked at different types of client base. When we had this recession 10 years ago, it was a lot of financial institutions and stuff like that. Now it's every single industry, probably except one. We're seeing some positives in our critical systems work and our data center work around the country. And the only thing different that JT Magen is going to probably do is look at some opportunities around the world and in Europe, some data centers to build there. And it's something that we've been reluctant in doing over the years because of the wear and tear on staff. And it's but now, as an organization, it's something that we have to look at very, very seriously to see how long we can ride this probably depression or recession out for.
Do you think there could be a depression?
God, it looks like that, doesn't it? I mean,
Maybe
look at
construction, maybe a commercial construction depression in New York City. How about that?
It has to look that way, Brian. I mean, look at if we're looking at the backlog and how long it takes for jobs to mobilize and planning. Sometimes that takes 2 or 3 years. And when you have no activity now for, say, a 6-month period, and probably there's going to be no activity for another 6 to 12 months, and the ripple effect of that could be 2 or 3 or 4 years of an effect on work. It has to be.
Wow. We have just started to see the longer term ripple effects here. But Maurice Regan, we appreciate you coming on. I know it's tough times. Listen, glad you guys got work coming in and cash flow coming in now. Keep us in touch. Let us know if things loosen up a bit. Maurice Regan, best to you and your entire team. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brian. Nice talking to you.